Do you know what a sudden death is? Soon we will all be affected by it, including our children and loved ones.
It happens in an instant. In just 30 seconds, the entire city gets buried under rubble. People go to bed, and in the morning they are just gone. In just 30 minutes, water fills the entire house. People are rushing out in their underwear while someone is breaking windows to save those who became trapped in the flooded homes. Landslides, instantly destroying everything in their way. If lucky, warning comes just a few minutes before a natural disaster. It's impossible to escape within this time. None of us are prepared for such a scenario. According to official figures alone, the number of natural disasters has increased fivefold over the last 50 years. The climate causes $202 million in damage and claims hundreds of lives every day.
None of us would want to be among the dead. We reached out to experts around the world to find out if our society is prepared for rapidly increasing natural disasters.
Climate situation has greatly changed the way fires behave. Climate change causes fires to become more destructive as they now form convective storms and smoke plumes which become very tall and massive, causing smoke plume tornadoes that already become much more aggressive and dangerous to the entire fire brigade, as we can see. These fires require much better logistics, more resources, and every day we're being tested by these unknown phenomena. But we do know that this is caused by climate change. I don't know what the solution is. I don't have one. But what I do know is that we have a problem.
As for every natural disaster anywhere in the world, is why the word disaster is connected with the natural, because it's beyond the capacity always, and it will be. You can't have enough measure to deal with tsunami, to deal with the drought. You can take the safety measures, like where people will be shifted, what will be the relief area, and how you will be managing all these things.
We are all targets and we are all victims. That is already a given reality. You cannot say, no, it will not affect me because I'm rich. That typhoon doesn't choose its path. Even the big houses here, even the millionaires' houses, or even any kind of calamity should be understood in a way that we know the effect of it.
We are all at the aim point of the climate, but do we know our enemy's face, its weapons, and its force of impact? How are we going to stand up in a war against climate if today we spend money not on real counteraction, but on the hypothesis that 0.004% of anthropogenic CO2 causes all the cataclysms?
They assure us that reducing carbon dioxide emissions will stop the cataclysms. However, there are more and more natural disasters, destruction, and climate refugees. Just think about it. Over the last 11 years, more than $5 trillion has already been spent on the so-called fight against climate change, but it's useless. There are so many disasters already that the heroism of rescuers is not enough. Rescuers are heroes and they risk their own lives. But the tools they have are not enough to deal with the force of natural disasters.
attention to anything but preparing for the unavoidable cataclysms. Do you know what to do if your house collapses on you? Can you even be confident that you will be rescued? After all, half of the countries today don't even have early warning system for dangerous emergencies, whereas forecasting systems have proven to be inadequate. Lack of coordination and bureaucratic procedures and paperwork make it impossible to effectively save millions of lives in current consumer society.
You know, number one is it's all about sending and spreading the right information. It's always about information system, because once people are informed and once you become active,
we have actually been able to significantly reduce the number of casualties in many disasters, which have been on the rise lately in large-scale disasters, because we invested in informing in advance, in warning systems, and in structures where you can take shelter. That is very, very helpful. And wherever they didn't have it, there was a huge problem because human lives were simply lost. And that is not an option.
So I was very surprised really at the scale of the deaths and destruction, because from my point of view, it looked like we could forecast this event coming. So something is going wrong in the communication chain of these warnings.
And this is a consequence of the consumerist format, where money, even if allocated, is stolen by officials and embezzlers. This is our money, the taxpayers' money. It is taken from our pockets, but why does it not reach those who save our lives? Why should your life and the lives of your children depend on the decisions of a few individuals? It's inhumane.
While we were going through one of the greatest tragedies in our history, our president decided to take a vacation and went for a trip to the south of the country. He provided no practical help, no help at all.
if we only depend on the government is will be also busy that time.
The need for assistance must be well assessed, and there must be someone who can arrive at the site quickly to assess it. Whereas if the assessment is incorrect, then either too much or too little help will be provided. It is possible to work only by improving warning systems, having rapid reaction force units, and having local search and rescue teams.
There are already some effective technologies that can help save people in emergencies. For example, a rescue drone that can be used regardless of weather conditions. Thanks to a multitude of sensors, it finds survivors very quickly. A vehicle with an autopilot can detect debris underwater during flooding, help people get out of the water, and it can deliver supplies. A snake robot and a crawler robot can detect gas leaks, and owing to built-in microphones and speakers, it can help communicate with survivors in hard-to-reach places. Developed together with NASA, Finder technology can detect breathing and heartbeat in 1 minute, even through 9 meters of concrete, and it can help find up to 5 people at once. The multipurpose complex Voskhod is a unique development. It has no equivalent in the sphere of emergency management, as it is capable of calculating the required number of rescuers and equipment, determining the required amount of funding for a rescue operation, victim support, and recovery work. This complex has a very important feature. It does not allow stealing from the budget and profiting from human adversities. Technology to save people is not being implemented everywhere because it is not a priority in the consumerist format. Protocols of diplomacy, conventionalities of diplomacy and politics, and a lack of joint logistics have brought us to the point where there is no effective interaction among emergency services in the world.
We need to build our society on a system which is more resilient, which is better capable to withstand any change which is happening, either in climatic systems or even in socio-economic systems.
There just has to be cooperation based on trust and also a system for distributing budget funds, which is simply growing in different countries. And that works, saves lives, and preserves livelihoods. In that sense, I very much support the idea of establishing a global rescue service, a unified organization that ensures room for opportunities, takes diversity into account, and at the same time makes use of synergies on a global level. That's exactly its value.
There must be a single global rescue service for an emergency response, which will enable competent coordination of experts and rapid deployment of the required equipment to save billions of lives, including yours.
All this is possible only in the format of a creative society. Currently, an important step in its building is the stage of informing. If we do not inform people about it right now, we will lose time. And tomorrow, there will be no one to inform and no one who will help you. It's important to bring this information to everyone now so that you and your family can survive tomorrow.
Research and other things, and even in the lowest floor there is 2-3 victims which are from small hole they are crying, and they are sending light signal from their mobiles, and that's it's very embarrassing for us that we are not doing something, because they are asking that just pull out, but it's very difficult to pull out them. Because there is a huge debris, 5-6 floor at collapse.
During Typhoon Yolanda, because when I arrived 4 days after Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, it is the first time in my life to see dead bodies everywhere. And government was not able to attend it right away. Some already decomposing. And it is the worst for me of all the situation I was attending. Like the pain really went into my heart, and the smell of dead bodies are everywhere you go. And it was also very sad because some did not die because of the typhoon. Some died because somebody stole their food. Some died because somebody stole their water. Very, very, like something that we cannot, that we will always say, I hope it will never happen again.
In the consumeristic format, nobody cares about anyone. Nobody cares about your life. And at the time when it's vital for us to unite, we are being divided. Just think of it. According to the official figures alone, conflicts and violence cost society more than 14 trillion annually. We spend huge amounts of money on developing the latest weapons instead of saving human lives, our lives. Isn't that ridiculous? The media is brainwashing us to think that it's normal. But is it normal? What are we, insane and incapable of thinking and analyzing? How could this be in a civilized society? Enormous sums of money are spent to take our lives away. Yet they save on saving our lives? We live in a crazy world. There is everything turned upside down. Make your own decision to die in a consumerist format or to live in the creative society. The choice is yours.